Hello. Just giving it a few seconds here, a couple minutes for the live to start. It's straight up 8 o'clock. And so we'll see if everyone who gets the notification joins in. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I can see Tanya in the chat room. Thank you for moderating. And I'm excited for this evening. This is my fun time, as you know. There's always a bit of a delay, so just making sure that the sound is good and that the notifications have gone out and that everything is smooth sailing. We are done with Mercury retrograde. There's a little bit of shadow. So, we got a few more days of using that energy to our benefit. And then we'll be on to the next astrological energy. Okay, I am getting the message that there is no sound. So let me check on that. All right, so we are not getting sound. Hold on here. Let us see. All right, we're doing a sound check here. All right, what about now? Can you hear anything? I'm changing some settings to see and allowing for the delay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? All right, let's do a sound check again. All right, testing sound. I switched to another sound profile. Can you hear me now? This is the third thing. I spoke too soon about Mercury retrograde. Well, that is so frustrating. Let's see here. Checking the sound. Testing and 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can hear me now. All right, so where we are now. Everything is a go. Give me a thumbs up. I am testing and talking. There is a delay. So by the time I talk, by the time it gets to the audience and then they confirm back to me, it's a little bit interesting. So we've got one person in the chat. I can see there are other couple people listening. So I'm just trying to give it a second here. Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. So we'll go ahead and get started with this live stream. This is In the Cards with the Viberarian, and I'm Joelle. I am the Viberarian. I am here to elevate, enlighten, and empower. And this is my journey, and I am inviting you to come along with me. And I hope that by these shares that you are also enlightened, elevated, empowered, and just generally feel good by the time you finish this experience with me. So this is a regular series that I am going to be doing on my channel. It's going to be a cross between live readings for people who are in the, in the chat, and then also some of them will be readings that I will be putting together using the decks pre-recorded. I love oracle cards, tarot cards, divination cards. I think that they're a wonderful tool to use to have a conversation with your higher self, your spirit guides, and source. It's very interesting because the market of cards has exploded in the years. Like, I've been probably buying decks for maybe 10 years. And what used to be the availability in terms of what you would find if you went into a store versus what you can find now is just exponentially grown to a huge degree. And one of the things that has happened as a result of our new economy, where people can create their own products and bring them to market much easier than what they used to be able to do. One of the byproducts of that is that there are now indie card creators, folks who are out there making their products available to people through places like Etsy and other outlets, and even on YouTube. You'll find Kickstarter campaigns where people who are artists are seeking crowdsourcing support for the things that they are bringing forth. And it's beautiful to see all of the ways that people now have to express themselves and to earn income from doing that. At one point in time, everything that you would see when you would go into the local store had Doreen Virtue's name on it. And she was a very prolific publisher of oracle cards until she decided not to do that anymore. And so there is a diversity now of cards that, because so many people are creating them based on their experience and adding that fractal, if you will, that lens to our spiritual experience. And it just makes me so excited. I think I've got probably 60 decks, and I've got a growing wish list because there are always new things coming out. And so it's an exciting area for me as an information person, as the Viberarian, to be able to continuously have resources that speak to the current energies and that evolve out of the places where the artists and creators are in the present moment, rather than being stuck in, it's like looking at a Van Gogh which was groundbreaking when Van Gogh was painting, but now it's considered an old classic. So the same thing is happening with the art of tarot cards as well, is that the presentations of messages that used to be considered like cutting edge now seem rather old fashioned, because we've got all of these new ways of colors and symbols and things being presented. It's just a delightful experience for me to be using cards. And I'm always engaged in conversations with people who I know who are actually, doing these things and publishing cards. And when I find somebody who's working on a little creative seed, if I can support them in any way in doing that, of course, I will do so. Coming up on different episodes of the show, I'm going to have friends of mine who also enjoy collecting cards, who have items that I haven't got in my collection yet, and will invite them on to share in the evening chat. And I also have some people who've created decks that I will have on as well to talk about the creative process and what it took for them to actually bring the cards into the market. And then also really the spiritual conversation as to the story behind them stepping into that space to communicate messages through a visual medium and for others to use. One thing about oracle cards that is different from tarot cards is that tarot is a system of divination that is several, hundreds of years old. Cartomancy, or the reading of cards for the purpose of receiving spiritual messages, is actually much older than tarot even. And, divination is the practice of using something to divine or to determine or see or receive a message that is of a spiritual nature. And people have been doing divination as a way of messaging since time immemorial. And many of what we can receive is direct downloads or spiritual messages through our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our claircognizance, our clairs, our clair psychic senses, if you will. But for the visual part about what oracle cards are able to do is that it really speaks to us similar to how art speaks to us, where we can see something, an image, and it inspires a feeling in us or a response in us when we view it. And the same thing happens with oracle cards, is that they can be artistic in nature, and the images that are presented can trigger something that is uniquely personal to your experience. And by that is that, there might be something on the card that speaks only to you, that the person who is reading the cards for you or another person who purchased that deck may not actually receive the same message that you got. And many of the card creators who create decks then provide booklets of information of why and what messages they received in terms of each card. However, as you begin to use oracle decks and cards, then you will expand into additional conversation with spirit based on your own personal walk. So it's always encouraged to not just go by what the book says, right? To step out from that framework and begin to experience cards in a very personal way. Now, the cards that I'm going to be using this evening from All Things Intuitive are not cards where the art is the message and the visual medium. These cards are what would be called channeled message cards. And by that conversation, channeling is the act of bringing in information from the divine realm and bringing it into a word form by either speaking or writing, in these cases where cards are the end result of that channeled conversation. So a couple years ago, I met Chris, the person, the beautiful soul behind All Things Intuitive, at the local psychic fair that I was participating in, the Big Psychic Fair by Gloria Parker up in Roswell. It's one of the longest psychic fairs in the Atlanta area. It's been going on, I think, about 30 years now. And there have been countless numbers of psychics who have come through and been there for a period of time, providing services to people who come on the first weekend of the month in order to get readings. And so I met Chris she was a practitioner there. She was actually doing Reiki at the time. And then one day I was led to have a Reiki session with her. And it was like a beautiful connection. She had been in my peripheral, awareness, which is often happens, is that we're busy during the day doing readings for other clients, and we don't always get a chance to intersect and connect with the other readers who are there. But it'd been tickling in my mind that I was going to be having a conversation with her. And so that particular day, I was able to sit down and have a Reiki session with her, which was just amazing. And one of the first things she said was chocolate chip cookies. Why am I tasting chocolate chip cookies? And it started a whole conversation. Of course, the chocolate chip cookies are still kind of evolving as a spiritual synchronicity in my life. And it's expanded out to include really my best friend and her life. And, I knew at that time that her father was around me. He is in spirit. And we had a relationship where I felt like just another one of his daughters. He only has one, but I felt like he really embraced me through that connection. And after he has transitioned, I began to receive my own awareness that he was around, in addition to like experiencing through my best friend his presence being acknowledged around her constantly. But these chocolate chip cookies really were like a funny kind of giggle moment at that time that spoke to me and said, that Chris was really connecting to my energy. She was in a beautiful healing space. And our conversations then just continued from that point. And I don't remember if it was at that particular psychic fair or the next psychic fair that she called me over and she said, I want you to see these cards that I'm coming up with and that I've come up with. And so she and I talked cards and she did a quick reading for me. And it was just amazing. I was like, you have to do these cards. Like, you have to release them. They're ready. There's no more. You don't need to delay on anything. Go ahead and do this. Yes, this is a yes, right? And so it was so exciting because then shortly after that, I started to see her. She really did move forward. And she shared on my interview on my podcast, The Psychic Inside Show. I did 2 interviews with her, and one about her journey discovering her psychic gifts and abilities. And the second one was actually about how she came into creating these cards. I will put the links to those interviews in the description box below this video after it airs, so that you can catch up on the story, so to speak, because it's really a beautiful telling. And I'm so happy that she chose to share her process and her journey with me and my listeners. But so the Messages of Love card, these are what she created. Let's see if I can get that chat out of there. This was the first version. And then she wound up, I think, changing the design a little bit. I mean, I may be wrong. No, this was the first version. All Things Intuitive, Messages of Love. I got a little bit of a glare from that angle. And then, they were updated. However, the old, the back of the cards is the same. And as you can see, there's, a tree, and then the channeled words that she received from Spirit in order to put with each one of these cards. So there was no accident in terms of what she decided to put on the messages for each one of these. So they really truly were like an experience of spiritual connection and a labor of love, if you will, for her to bring through this guidance on each of these cards. I don't recall what the additional, what the total number of cards for this deck were. At one point in time, there was an expansion pack of more messages that she got that was added that I also then received and made part of my deck. But excuse me, I find these tools to be very helpful, very clear. And I see all over YouTube now people reading with these cards, and it just makes me smile every time because I can see how beautifully her tree has flowered from the seed that she shared with me in that initial space just a couple years ago. So it's interesting that the first card that came up was healing, because I spoke about coming to her for Reiki and for a Reiki healing session, right? So old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. We're also in Mercury retrograde shadow. So if there's anything that has come up to be presented for you to observe in this retrograde period, take this opportunity to go in and dive deep and see what the wound is so that you can resolve it to a higher degree through this retrograde experience. Let me pause and say hello to the chat room, folks, to my beautiful sister, Helen, and down in Australia. She's just getting her day started. I believe she's commuting to work. Thank you for popping in, Helen. And you're saying, now I want chocolate chip cookies. If we could figure out a way to get you chocolate chip cookies shipped, we definitely would. Now my bestie is starting to be baking her own chocolate chip cookies, and with Gooba's Gourmet. I'm super proud of her. And I'm sure that Spirit knew from that moment of that point of healing session that I had with Chris that there was going to be a deeper meaning to the chocolate chip cookie story. But at that time, it was relevant to my experience that particular weekend. But I love that Spirit doesn't have a sense of time. Things just come forward in new ways. So anyway, the messages of love cards. Now her decks were coming in a burlap or a little bag, which I actually like this because I don't often, leave my cards in the box. Of course I do when they're on the shelf, but as I'm transporting them to go do readings at fairs and things of that nature, it's very helpful for me to not have as much baggage to deal with, right? And it was a sturdy bag. Now, I don't know if her cards are still offered in this or if they are boxed. And I know that with the later deck that she did, the last one that I received, the messages of closure cards, it definitely was packaged differently. But the first 3 decks that I had were in some form of baggie. And I also wanted to pause here and say that I love, she makes a energy clearing sage smudge spray. I love this spray. I've been using it consistently. I get it for my friends. My friends order it. I gift it to people. Hi, Robin. Thank you for joining this evening. Robin's Realm Readings is in the house. Please check out her YouTube channel as well. She is a beautiful sister that I've connected with through our YouTube readings. And I've been tuning in. She's been doing a series of Rumi readings and working through the deck. I think she's getting ready to transition to a new energy, a new deck or oracle deck to use. But her readings are just beautiful. And I look forward to hopefully having her on for an interview on my show at some point in the near future. Just putting a little positive peer pressure out there. So anyway, this sage spray from Chris, All Things Intuitive, it's infused with rose quartz, distilled water, therapeutic grade sage oil, and she charges each bottle, each batch with Reiki and under the eclipses and full moons, depending on the energy and intention at that time. And so I love these bottles. She makes a smaller bottle and I keep the big bottle. I've been sending it around to, like I said, gifting it to people and purchasing it over and over again. And it is just really beautiful to do a clearing of your space, right? So let me also call it in. Now, I also have to tell you, I don't receive paid promotions for any of these conversations that I have with you. So I'm not out here hawking any goods. This is stuff that I really use in my life and tools that I use for myself and others. So, all right. So her first deck is the Messages of Love Oracle cards. Okay. Oh, and thank you, Robin's Realm. Great. I would love to try. I see you spraying your mist on your readings as well. And I've been curious about it. So it's been on my little personal wish list. So I think there's so much beautiful things and easy things that we can do that shift our energy very quickly and that we don't realize that we have the ability to just say, psh, psh. You don't have to make a big sage smudge. Of course, you can take care of your space in your house and do these things, but wearing things like organite jewelry. This is my organite from Golden Era Creations. Keeping some smudge spray in your purse or in your, in your car so that you can quickly clear your energy when you leave from stressful places and situations where you would be encountering energy that's not yours, to do quick clearing. I'm going to be doing a class on, basic energetic hygiene in the near future. And so I'll definitely speak more about ways that we can manage our energy in a more healthy way, an aware way. So anyway, these are the Messages of Love, Messages of Love Oracle cards. And so I think that it is beautiful. True love. True love, emotion. This is love is emotional, physical, and unconditional. Beautiful message from Spirit. If you are in that energy of actual love that has no list of things that you must do in order to qualify for that love, that is where the unconditionality lives. So again, beautiful messages. I just happened to split the deck at that point to see. Now, the second card deck that she created is called the Hidden Truth Oracle. Now, I love these cards. I love the color starting out. First of all, it was that deep ruby rose color, and then the lighter pink, which to me speaks about unconditional love and just compassion, acceptance. But also then we kind of got the deep. So it's like going in to the shadow aspect and behind the scenes, so to speak. This was her second deck. And again, I see it all over YouTube as well. Here we have a message. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. So if this message resonates with anybody who is viewing it, I always intend that messages that are truthful and of the highest frequency are only those that are able to be communicated through me. So if you saw this, then it is for you and in divine timing, right? There's no accidents and coincidences. So again, this is her Hidden Truth Oracle. And then the third deck, I actually was a little bit hesitant at first because myself, I don't always work with, well, there was a time when I hesitated to go into, it's known as shadow work. And it was because I just really didn't have a good understanding of the idea and of going into the darker sides of ourself, into our woundedness, into the shadow aspect of our nature. But after I began to integrate more in that process myself, then I was able to begin to use tools and things that are specifically meant to have those kind of conversations. And so this is her In the Shadows Oracle cards. Right. And again, you can see that they're just simple messages on the back. The design is very simple. And In this particular case, I hope that you are happy for me. All of the cards have that same image on them. So again, these are for channeled messages, not for visual clairvoyant. These would be more like a clairaudient communication. Here in this case, a person does not want to feel the way that they felt in terms of a painful experience. I never want to feel that way again. Maybe it's vulnerable that you felt wounded or you felt like challenged by something. I never want to feel afraid of my own shadow. I don't want to be afraid of my shadow, right? Anymore. That's for real true. I don't want to pull back and deny any aspects of myself or who I have been in past lives just because they may make me uncomfortable in my present life or they may challenge who I believe that I am. So I don't ever want to be afraid of any aspects of myself. Great, timely message. So the last deck that I have of hers, she does have another one that's, I think, affirmation cards, but the last deck that I have of hers actually comes in a box. All right. And so this is the box that it comes in. It's a fairly sturdy box, you know, for those who want to know. All of her cards are of a good weight. They shuffle well. They are coated in coated, so they're kind of able to slide across the table. They're not matte. This is interesting. This one says, I miss our morning coffee. So depending on who you have had a separation with in terms of either literal, in terms of them passing away, or them not being in connection with you at this particular time, and just because you're not communicating, then this would be also the message as well. And these cards are really good for accessing the more mediumship type of conversation, again, with loved ones who have passed on, and for people who you really kind of want to like have the finale or insights from beyond the relationship state or the friendship state. If you fell out with each other, had an argument, separated, broke up, things of that nature. What is interesting about this card, and I don't know that I've had a chance to discuss it with her, is that this is like the blue door. And so in the South, in places like that, there was a practice of painting your doors haint blue, and that's Haint, and that's like haint as in a ghost or a spirit. And so you would have these light blue doors, or this particular color blue door, and so you would sorry, I'm looking at the chat, getting distracted, but hello, Lotus. Oh, Helen says that she would have drinking coffee together every morning with her twin flame. That's a beautiful message. All right. So these cards read well, and Spirit uses them to communicate. So it's beautiful. But so Hank Blue would be like, they said that it would keep the spirits away from your house, so that you would, you know, they would think that it was the sky. It's kind of like a sky blue, and they would not think to come into the home. It would be like, go ahead and go somewhere else. It was a protective thing, but it was from spiritual realm. So it's interesting because we have this door here that is like, you know, you're opening the door to have a conversation with your loved ones in the spiritual realm, and from that perspective, right? So this tool is not one that I necessarily will use in general love readings. It's very specific, again, because it's about the closure part. But what's interesting is that here we have on the back, I am helping you now. So the higher realms, the ancestors, our departed loved ones, even those who we may not be in physical connection with that are actually still living, we are still connected, and they are letting you know, I am helping you now, which to me is like getting a hug from my loved ones and saying, yes, we're here for you in this moment, right? All right, here's a card that says, I projected my unhappiness on you. Don't know who that's for, but it's out in the universe, right? I projected my unhappiness on you. All right. So these are the 4 decks that she has so far, as I said. Let me pull these off. All right. Excuse me, I keep catching my arms on my chair. So here are her 4 card decks. Powerful tools. And I know that, you know, these card decks, she is not producing them in rapid fire succession because they take her own experience energy through as she is creating each of these. So it's not like she sat down at the kitchen table and figured out 20, 40, 50 catchy slogans and just put them on a card. She really was tapping in order to provide the tool that spirit needed her to provide for the people who are going to be using these decks. Now, she also has started offering charm sets. So this is my sets of all things intuitive charms. They don't come in this little beautiful container. I got this at, you know, like Home Goods or something like that when they started letting us retail again. But I love it because, you know, it had a little spoon for it. I guess I'm supposed to put some kind of appetizer in it or candy or whatever. But to me, these charms are like candy. So charms are one of those things that, again, begins to tap into your personal relationship with images and the things that you have seen and the things that are important to you. So they don't come with a book or anything like that, but you can really dig into the symbols of what each of these are. You can do research on Google, and then you can also tap into your initial responses to what the charm is. So charm casting, in this case, you know, I'll stir up the charms here. And I'm not looking to see what I draw out, but let me do a little shaky, shaky, shaky here. Okay. This is irritating me. I'm sorry for the jerky here, but it is a leaf, right? Beautiful. And it's interesting because here we have her first deck had leaves on it. The In the Shadows cards have leaves on them. In my work as the Viberarian, the Viberary is represented by a beautiful tree with illumined individuals on it. And it's like that we basically, all of us are leaves on the tree of knowledge. And that knowledge that is contained in each of us is meant to be shared in order to uplift and help humanity. So here we have this leaves. We are all leaves on said tree. That's part of my mission statement, right? So all of us connecting here through the great tree of humanity, from the UK to Australia, from Georgia and around the United States, we are all leaves on the tree. That's beautiful charm to get. So I love it. So anyway, when you charm cast, you can either go in and take a handful and throw them out, see where they land. Or in this case, you know, I'm using my little scooper spoon, but there really is no wrong way to use the tool. But what you do want to make sure is that your energy is right in terms of the transaction. So what I always say is that I only wish to connect with the frequencies, energies, and beings that are of an unconditionally loving vibration, and that the messages that I receive and interpret are for my best and highest good and the best and highest good of all. And so it is. So I put a framework around my activity of doing divination because I'm not really interested in hearing messages from spirits that are not as my friend Max would say at Luminous Star Healing. She says vibrationally sound ancestors and energies, right? So I'm not really interested in having conversations with vibrationally not sound beings. And so here, this was just sitting in the spoon. It's a little hand. bringing down love, right? So I only receive the messages of love, unconditionally loving frequency. And I would say that that's a good practice for you as well when you are using divination tools. Now in the chat, we have Lotus Flower Bomb who says, I pulled that charm earlier today and she got the leaf. She's talking about the leaf one. And she interpreted as ancestors and guardian angels. Absolutely. You know, when we see, like, even in like Black Panther, when he went into the realm of the ancestors, they were all sitting in the trees, right? And in the Mayan understanding is that the tree, I forget the name of it, but it's like the tree that also gives water. If you're traveling, you can tap into it and get water, but that your ancestors are overlooking the community fire, and that the higher up in the tree you go, then the higher up in the further back in the ancestor line you are connecting with. But the most recently departed ancestors are the ones that are most closely connected to the community fire, if you will, into the daily business of your tribe and the things that you are trying to do in order to survive and succeed and thrive and all of those things. So I love that, right? So even the interpretation of another person who is sharing their version of this, it adds to all of our spiritual upliftment. That's why I love doing online things and sharing and connecting with people like this, because we truly are aspects of the same source energy, right? And again, here we have that love. It says actually love on the heart itself, right? So messages of love, messages of love being communicated, right? So we've got the tree and the hand bringing messages down. So it's beautiful. I definitely do love the synchronicities of this experience. So these are what I have here. And if anyone would like to have a card drawn, please let me know. And if there's a specific deck or if you would like some charms pulled, put that in the comments and I will definitely go ahead and draw some cards to each of you who are here. Thank you. If you could give a like and a share later after the live is over, I would definitely appreciate it. And we'll try to work out some of the beginning part of the sound difficulties. I'll probably actually put another version of this video up after I've got it edited a little bit. And also you can go to All Things Intuitive to her website here. Let me see if I can pull that up for you while we're waiting for comments in the chat room here. Let's see. All right, here is All Things Intuitive, her webpage. Messages of love cards. Looks like she's out of stock on these. Okay, so there are 54 cards and the messages of love. This is the In the Shadows deck and the messages of closure. Okay, it looks like her other deck is intention setting cards, believe and achieve. I have not ordered these yet, but hope to in the near future. And you can definitely check out her Etsy shop. She also provides free Reiki distance healing on her YouTube channel, which is beautiful. And she does card reads as well on Instagram. And I think she's gotten on to TikTok as well. So, you know, here's one of her Reiki healing sessions. She's done Reiki healing for COVID help and other things like that. So, you know, I'm always trying to pass along the positivity of the folks who I am uplifted by. And that is what this particular, you know, experience is doing with, oh, excuse me. Oh. I'm in the wrong. Okay, sorry about that. I'm in the wrong particular view here. Okay, so Robin's Realm wants to know what is holding me back. All right, so let me see here. Now, I don't have my tarot, but let us see what the hidden truth and the in the shadows cards have to say. And then I will also pull a charm to see what guidance wants to be shared with Robin as to what is holding her back. All right, thank you. And then we'll get to a charm and a message from Lotus Charm for Guba for Tanya, and then Lotus Flower Bomb as message as well. So let's start with Robin and see what the hidden truth behind, like what is higher self, her higher self, messaging to her energy. And then we'll also get something from in the shadows here, because we want to see what it is. All right. Is there someone or something that you are grieving or missing, that you have found it difficult to find your happy space now that they have moved on to another experience without you, be it in living or just in function? Are you able to tap into your true joy and happiness? Let's see what else it says here. Okay, so there is a message here that from someone that is saying, I was in love with you. Now, is there a person, and if this is not related to a person, can you think to a time when you were truly in love with yourself, when you were at a place where you truly were like, you know, loving everything about yourself, your body, your career, your life, all of those things, and getting back into that vibration, right? But here is saying that this person or this energy was in love with you. And many of us who are on that twin flame experience, it is so challenging, and I know that it is for growth, but when you are in places of separation and resolving what happened between you, that woundingness, that wound between the energies, it is very pervasive and can be continuous. And a lot of times we learn to navigate around it and then just proceed and find our happy place. But like being truly back to a place of being in love all the way with everything, it's almost like once we activate to that twin flame experience, it gets more challenging to see that truly carefree, loving space that existed in us before we activated to that journey as well. But the thing to remember is that if we are on that journey, that the twin is the perfect mirror catalyst in order to cause us to really truly heal our shadow and our wounds and the things that existed from other lifetimes that we are not even aware of. It really helps us dig those things out all the way. And every time we think that we get to a level of healing, then another life will emerge, a past life will emerge, another collective energy will emerge. And that's the other thing, that if you're a twin, then you are holding a frequency for the collective and holding a new template for the collective to move into a different form of love and relationship with self and others, right? So we as humanity have not been unconditionally loving and happy truly on all levels, layers, and dimensions for many thousands of years. So through our relationships and dating, relating, and mating and living, we are looking at ways that we can move back to that unconditional loving space that we experience when we are with Source, where we are truly, truly happy in that, right? And part of the message is like, we are never truly without someone. We are never truly without spirit, even, because we know that we are all one and we are always connected. But our experience of the separation itself is what we have to reconcile and move through. But this is definitely a message here coming through that there's uh, uh, an inquiry as if you found happiness. And it's very challenging as well, because we know that unconditionality says we love the person regardless of who they are to us and who they are, in terms of, like, you love your child even though your child may be bad, right? Or your child may be challenging. You still love your child unconditionally, and you always would want the best for them. And that's truly what you want for the other fractal of yourself that is your twin flame. However, it can be very challenging to deal with the experience of someone choosing to be in a relationship just not with you. It doesn't even have to be in a relationship with someone else, but just to not be able to have made a relationship work. And you wonder, well, I hope that you are happy for me, right? But the thing that I always say is that as happy as I am, then I hope and pray that my twin is even more happy in his experience than I am. Because I mean, we're one frequency. So I hope he is loving his life and doing things like I'm doing with this in the cards reading, and like you're doing with Robin's Realm readings, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that he is as fulfilled and happy as you are with your life mission and experience in that reflection. But that doesn't change the curiosity of, I hope today was a good day for you. I hope that you're okay. I hope that your life is looking beautiful. And Robin says, I teach this as well because it's also self-awareness. Funny thing, I love him. I do not like him. Truth. Right? So that's the thing, right? Is like we are all born into situations and circumstances like where we have family members who were born into the biological family unit. And we can find out, you know what, I really don't like my cousin, or I really don't like my son, my sister, or my brother. I'm glad that I don't have like that to the extreme experience, but I know my one brother's been challenged with me at different times, like, you just don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And he'll, I know he's like, you're on this crazy cuckoo path at different times, right? So we have our challenges, but I think at a fundamental level, he likes me and I like him. I love him. You know what I'm saying? We have fun times when we're together, but he's not what I would say is like my best friend, a sibling, right? Fortunately, I don't have any asshole siblings, but a lot of us have been in situations where you can find out that your child develops into a person who is not who you raised them to be, and that they're really like maybe a mean person, or they get into questionable things in their path, and it's like, I don't like you at all. Where did this come from? Maybe you got it from your father, maybe you got it from your mother, right? But unconditionality says, you know what, they're still my child. That also then doesn't mean that you let your child come in and wreck your home because they're addicted to drugs, steal from you, or any of those things. Like I had a friend who had to get a restraining order on her daughter after her daughter got violent with her. And it was very deeply painful for her to experience that altercation. And she still loved her daughter, but she was like, you can't come near me for the period of time that this restraining order is in place, right? So the challenge of being, and she's also a twin flame. So it's like the challenge of unconditional love. It's like you're going to have that experience to the nth degree of challenging unconditionality. And I say all the time, well, if unconditional love were easy, this world would be a very different place. We would all be living a much higher frequency if we could all just easily see each other as aspects of the same source and same energy. So let me see what we have here from the In the Shadows messages that also want to be communicated. I have another twin flame friend who just felt really shackled by the twin dynamic of like, do I have to be connected to, do I have to, am I gonna be stuck forever in this kind of dynamic? You know, with this person just because he's my twin. And it's like, well, no, you don't have to do anything just because the person's your twin. They are, you just have to learn to manage the energy of the connection, but they're doing their part to grow your soul. And you don't have to be in relationship, especially if it's unhealthy. That might be the whole reason of the connection, is to show you that being unhealthy is not going to be my choice. You know what I'm saying? And so if that means saying goodbye to you, then I'm doing that. And that can be a very hard lesson for people who get into dysfunctional patterns of connection, of codependency. And again, that's the same with if it's your father or your mother or somebody who has a relationship that you think requires you to be connected. What does it take for you to step away from family in order to be healthy? Right? So these are the challenges that are growing our soul in the way that we asked to be grown when we undertook this particular experience. Okay, so let's see what else we've got here. Queen of Swords is ready to put that down and pick up that cup full of overflowing and free of universal grief. I receive that. I mean, I'm a Libra, so Queen of Swords is, you know, our thing, right? And having to be, you know, cutting and core, just even being in our mind space rather than our heart space can be very, very challenging. But if you're ready for it, then it is going to come. And when we say, yes, I want it, then all the things we need to do until for that to go, for that to happen, are going to absolutely happen for us. So let's see in the shadows what energy wants to come out. And also then, Robin, if you would call out a number like between 1 to 266, then I can read for you a letter from the Divine Love Letters books and see if there is something that wants to be communicated to you. Hello, Paula, for just joining. Okay, back to Robin's Realm. Please do check out her YouTube channel. I'm telling you, her messages are beautiful. Her energy is beautiful. Rumi cards. I love that Rumi deck. And your messages have been very much speaking to me where I am in my journey right now. So let's see here in the shadows. To be communicated in this moment. All right. I was careless with you. Okay, she says 6. I understand you better now. And back with the I hope you're happy. That's 2, right? I wonder if you're happy without me, and I hope you're happy. Beautiful. And they say at that moment, I just didn't care. When we're careless, right? It says, at that moment, I just didn't care. And so I was careless with you. I wonder if you're happy without me. And I hope that you're happy. I understand you better now. And clearly I understand myself better now as well, that I was in love with you. All right. Beautiful messages here. Let's see what we've got in the love letters books here. Hold on one second. All right. Card from letter number 6 from the Divine Love Letters books by Bella Tinks. Let's see what that is. We have for book volume 1. I want you to know that you have nothing to worry about. I want you to calm your mind so that you can live in your heart and feel me inside of you. Feel my warmth in your heart. Let my love and the power of our love together guide us back to each other. It's been a long, long journey, but it's one that we can absolutely finish. And the finish line is so close, it's just a matter of focus and intent. Believe in our life together. Believe in the plans that we want for each other coming to fruition. Believe that what you think, I think. What you feel, I feel. We share common goals. We share common aspirations. We share the same lifeblood that runs through every part of us, binding us together, keeping us in tune with each other. Keep us in tune by focusing on our hearts beating together as one. Okay, so it's very interesting because when we're faced with an energy of someone we don't like them, the hardest thing is for those we don't like, for us to see them as an aspect of ourselves. So here you have in your twin embodiment, this energy of a person who you don't like, who you love. I have neighbors who I don't like, but I have to love. There are people in my reality that I observe through the political spectrum that I don't like, but I have to love them. That is the challenge. If we only love the people who we like, who they are, and we have been many things in many, many lifetimes over and over again, and we haven't always been great, likable people at all. So, to be able to say, yeah, we still were worthy of love and that we still were within the frequency of unconditional love, no matter whether we were likable or not, then that's the most extreme kind of experience, which goes to speak to the level of your soul's desire to be challenged and to grow in this lifetime. So letter number 6 in book 2. Seriously, why can't you just be a bit more responsive and a bit more forthcoming? Why, oh, why does it have to be so hard? It's like flogging a dead horse. I feel beyond frustrated when all I want to do is just be with you, and I really don't know how I go about doing that or what you want me to do to help us do that. I need to know that you want this. I need to know this is a little bit odd in the language. I need to know I'm just not on some wild magical goose chase, which is going to end up with me jumping into a canal. Please give me something to go on in real life. So, if there is a message of unconditionality that is safe for you to communicate, that you feel okay communicating with, and if not, take it to the higher realm and say, Spirit, look, you're going to have to communicate in the way that this message can get through to him, because I'm not willing to necessarily engage or bring that energy back into my space in terms of a circular dynamic or whatever. You're going to have to be the carrier of this message for me on my behalf. Carry this message of love to the other half of myself, my twin, so that he knows that I am happy and I want him to be happy. And I do feel that unconditionality for him in my heart space. Okay, and this is letter 6 from volume 3, that we are a match made in heaven, that our divinely guided and beloved union is written in the stars. It's in the wave and ripple of the oceans and lakes. It's in the air that we both breathe. With every breath you take, think of the oxygen that feeds your body, feeling our union, powering our bodies to bring us closer together. We need the power of our physical bodies to experience our souls uniting. We need our bodies to experience our enlightenment. We need each other to reach the light within, the full light within each of us, comes from being in a physical union with one another, peace and love. Okay, so we have to be able to live in peace and love with each other, in peace and love with ourselves, and move through our grief and our blocks and our woundedness so that we can bring in this new frequency. And I know that you are embodying and living that through the messages and the work that you're doing on your channel, Robin. And so I know that that frequency, it may not be that you can recognize it, how it's manifesting in your twin, but it absolutely is. And sometimes we just it's not for us to necessarily see and understand, but when we know in our heart space that this is the other part of myself and they're doing what needs to be done to clear for us. And whatever they're doing is in enabling you, and whatever you're doing is in enabling them. But we just can't worry about what's happening on the other side of the transaction. And that's part of the challenge sometimes. So, okay. All right. So moving on, let's see here. We are doing a charm for Tanya. Here, let's see what we've got, Tanya. Let's give it a good shaky, 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 and see what charm wants to come out. Oh, wow. We've got 3. Haha, this is funny. All right, this is looks like a bee or a wasp. Yeah, I think it's definitely a bee. It is a bee, but it almost looks like leaves for the wings as well. I don't know that it's coming into the right focus. But bees, and we are the bee realm. We are the sweetness that is part of our collective work is to bring the sweetness, to bring the golden energy of Christ and light, the honey, into the world. And so you also have been, you're doing your business with your Gooba's Gourmet, and you are making sweet treats for people, and you are busy as a bee right now as you flit from place to place, dropping off your little treats to people to pollinate them and to make their lives sweeter. So I think that's very interesting. You also have the charm. You got 2 word charms, which there aren't that many in this charm deck, but here you have trust and forever. So trust, forever, and the honeybee and the wasp. I mean, this is pretty much the epitome of your life and what you're doing, trusting your instincts as you're choosing the tastes and flavors that you want to, and trusting yourself and knowing that, the steps that you have made are leading you into the best life for yourself and for your family. You're being busy as a bee, doing the work of spreading love in every bite, as you say, and that you are forever connected, just both your father, in spirit, and your family, and also just into spirit in the larger sense. All right. So that's the charms for Tanya. Goobawoo. Robin, very welcome. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Okay, let's see. So we said Lotus. Let's see, Lotus Flower Bomb. Let us see what messages I'm going to use. The Messages of Love Oracle, and I'm going to pull some charms as well, and the Hidden Truth Oracle. I think those are the 2 decks that are calling to me to use as well. And Google Tanya says, I trust forever. And she put the infinity symbol. Yes, we are infinite. We are in the connection, always coming back, never ending, and on to infinity and beyond. All right. So Let's see here what the messages of love for Lotus Flower Bomb are. First of all, I love that little song, by the way. Lotus to me speaks of our divine feminine flowering consciousness. And it says to me, you are a bomb of high frequency knowledge, information, compassionate love, and energy. Because you're the bomb, right? All right. It's funny because I've been watching videos lately that are these things from this show called Hot Ones, and they're all tasting this hot sauce called the Bomb Insanity Hot Sauce. So here we are with the bomb again, right? And these folks are basically talking about the explosion of taste in their mouth, and they're sweating, and it's highly entertaining to me. I don't eat hot stuff to that degree myself, but I've definitely spent some YouTube time on the bomb hot sauce. So Flower Bomb, I'm trusting that you are hot with the frequency of love and bringing that into the planet, and that there is some kind of explosion in people's realities when you decide to flower that consciousness. All right, so let's see what we have from the messages of love oracle cards here. Here and now. Your true love is already part of your life. And you know, I always hear Luther Vandross and this here and now when I, hear that. So your true love is already part of your life. Acceptance that everything happens for a reason. Healing, old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. So we were speaking earlier before you got on about this retrograde having been an opportunity to do some work. We've still got some shadow of retrograde and other planetary aspects that will favorably support our revisiting, but definitely inner child healing has been coming up. I've seen several meditations come across my feed, about stepping into the wounds, and it's always on us to observe our own rather than through other people pointing out their woundedness, right? Their wounded space. And says, well, you got two that are in conjunction here. Put away the computer and retreat. Time alone or in nature will help you recharge. One of the videos that I saw is from a channel that I subscribed to a long, long time ago. I haven't seen them post anything in years, but it is about doing a walking meditation, and it's 34 minutes and 34 seconds long. So that 3434, I saw it on a license plate today too, and I was driving to yoga. So I'll see if I can find that for you in my subscriptions and try to drop it in the into the comments on the video, because being outdoors in order to do that work and to walk, and maybe that is how you will be able to connect for the visualizations and the understanding of the issues that want to be presented for them to be healed as well. Oh yeah, I did see Steve Nobel. Thank you, Helen. She said Steve Nobel just did a beautiful inner child healing meditation as well. So definitely do that. Again, in the notes, I'll put this walking meditation that's 34 minutes and 34 seconds long. And also there's a video that is about healing the baby, and my friend Dr. Tracy sent it to me, and it's basically you go into like your baby self, so like the initial experience of separation from the womb, and then being outside of that space, like the experiences of being birthed into the flesh from spirit, the wounds that are occurring from that as well. So I'll also put that link in the comments below the video as well. So, all right, now let's see what the hidden truth here says. Put away the computer and retreat. Here and now, acceptance and healing. So let's see what aspects can be added to that. for you. All right. All right. Somebody can't stop thinking about you. Again, I wonder if you're happy without me. I love you unconditionally. And finding out the truth crushed me. And I replay our conversations over and over. So I would think that it's safe to assume that this is what you are experiencing as well, that you can't stop thinking about this person and that you wonder, are they happy without you? That you love them unconditionally as they love you. You replay your conversations over and over again, and finding out a truth crushed you. We are always mirroring each other. Always. Okay, and then let me get a charm for you, Lotus, real quick here. Okay, when it doesn't, oh, look at this. It is a unicorn. Sorry, they're so small. It's hard to show them. But so you have a unicorn charm. And this unicorn is high stepping too. It's kind of like prancing, right? So, you know, you are magic, and to be high stepping and then also frolicking and playing. Unicorns are also our child, right? Our inner child, because when we are children, we believe in the magic. We know that there are unicorns and fairies and pixies and dragons and all those things. So stepping into that time when you were a child and what you thought was possible and your imaginations and your beliefs, and look to see where you might have experienced a wound in becoming an adult, of having to put away those things that made you happy, that made you prance with delight, but definitely like embodying your magic. Because I mean, this is a delightful, very proud, this very proud, you know, horse. So, wow. So she says, Lotus says that the unicorn is her spirit animal, and she pulled the same unicorn earlier. So beautiful confirmation for you. All right. So thank you, Lotus. Thank you. I appreciate so much that you come and support these lives and these events. I appreciate you. And all right, so anyone else in the chat that wanted to receive a message today? I've got to give it a minute here for things to come up. Oh, yes. Thank you. Robin says, please hit the like button so more people can find this channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I'm trying to let people know we're here and that we're doing these lives. And again, for the future videos that I will put out about the decks that I have. I love Oracle cards, and I certainly love the experience of reading for myself. And when I get to read other people, it's also amazing. So if anyone else is interested in a message, I'll just give it a few more seconds here to see what is going on. Thank you for the chat. It's so high vibration in there. Everyone who has been commenting. I know that this doesn't show up after the video when it goes on to YouTube for permanent purposes, but I've tried to like thread in what I could out of the chat dialogue for those who will be listening later. And I just think it's beautiful that we are connecting across the miles and continents and things like that. And yes, I met Lotus and several other people who come into the lives through Kiera, who is Southern Mystic Tarot, through her channel, like probably over a year ago. And it's been beautiful to see the ways that our fractal keeps growing and growing. I definitely will email you, Robin. Thank you so much. I met Robin because she commented about a video that I did with Soul Whisperer, who I also met on Southern Mystic in the chat for her videos. And so it's like we move in ways that are ripples, and as long as you're open to the connection and you can sense the vibration with other people, then you will always be led to other people who are moving, you know, in the same journey that you are, and it's for the purpose of us helping each other and being encouraged and knowing that you're not alone on this journey. You're never alone. We're always with Source and with our guides and angels, but it's really good to know that you're with other people too, right? Helen, you know that I love you so much. We shared a message earlier today. She shared a walk from the beach that she took today, which was and where she lives is so beautiful. She shared some flower pictures with me, and one was a rose because we're a rose sister. And, you know, then it was a morning glory, a beautiful purple flower. So I knew that I had a card deck, the Power of Flower Oracle. And so I went in there and looked at morning glory and sent it to her. And it was about embodying the new goddess energy. So it was just a beautiful sharing moment for both of us. And I will get into those cards from Isha Lerner on a future in the cards reading. So it looks like things are pretty quiet in the chat in terms of folks who are wanting to get a reading. And so as we close here, if someone would just give me a number between 1 and 60, then I will get us an affirmation and a mantra. Matter of fact, let me see what number 6 was. What's on page 6 of this book? Oh, we don't have a number 6 in this book. So I thought there might be a poem in this book by Flourishing Goddess that would be on page 6, but it wasn't. But if somebody wants to share a different number, let me read what number 6 is from the Divine Love Mantras. I walk my path of my true soul self. Lotus Flower Bomb says 58. Okay, and Helen says 22. Okay, so 6 is I walk my path of my true soul self. And then 22, every cell of my body is vibrating in pure ecstasy, drawing you in. 22 is a divine feminine frequency, right? Love that. And 58 is, let's see here. Together we are the light. Together we are the love that creates miracles across the universe. Bella Tinks. These are beautiful. These are the love mantras. Now, her money mantras, number 6. First of all, we could all use a little abundance. Mantra, I always have exactly the money I need when I need it. Number 6, I receive it. I always have exactly the money I need when I need it. All right. Number 22, money makes me feel free. Money makes me feel light. Money makes me feel loved by the universe. All right. And 58, I trust in the universal flow of money. I trust in my ability to be a master money maker. Okay. In the little book of loving your body and the transformation mantras, we have number 6, which is I chose my body, the experiences and the people around me to teach me to become more of who I am meant to be. Today, I honor my growth. I chose my body, the experiences, and the people around me to teach me to become more of who I am meant to be. Today, I honor my growth. Whew, that was a good one. Whew, I could just feel it went through me. Number 22, my mind, body, and spirit are all one. Today, I honor my magical Trinity. Okay. My mind, body, and spirit are all one. Today, I honor my magical Trinity. Beautiful. Yes, and that's number 22, which is that divine feminine. So divine masculine, divine feminine, and the holiness of the source energy combined mind, body, and soul as above, so below. All right, number 58. Feeling myself emerge to become the highest vibration of me and feeling comfortable in my body is the best feeling ever. Yes, it is. Feeling myself emerge to become the highest vibration of me and feeling comfortable in my body is the best feeling ever. Okay, so that is from the loving your body into transformation mantras. And then we'll end with the last one here, which is going to be, oh, hey, Foxy Method, thank you, welcome for coming. We're getting ready to wrap things up here with this last set of mantras. These were submitted by everyone in the chat. Number 6 is going to be, today is a really good day for magic and for miracles to flow into my life. Here and now, today is a really good day for magic and for miracles to flow into my life. Every day is a good day for that in this now moment, okay? 22 says, today I honor my inner divine light, which lights up my soul and creates my magic path. Today I honor my inner divine light, which lights up my soul and creates my magic path. All right, and then lastly, number 58. Today I am fearless in the pursuit of my own inner magician, and I can feel that magic is about to happen. Woo! Today I am fearless in the pursuit of my own inner magician, and I can feel that magic is about to happen. All right, everyone. Thank you. These were our mantras today from Bella Tink's Divine Love Crystal Gridge channel on YouTube. She's got these on the Amazon store. Check these out. Great way to get your energy set for the day. And we have been reading with the All Things Intuitive cards, Messages of Love, the Hidden Truth, the In the Shadows, and Messages of Closure. All right. So please do check out her store. Let her know you saw her cards this evening. And I just thank each of you for these moments that we are sharing together, for your high vibe energy, for the good vibe tribe. I'm having, excuse me, I'm having the time of my life, okay, and I'm going to hear about that later. But but it's like when I get excited and spirit moves, what can I say? You know, things bubble up from inside of me. So anyway, to each of you, I just hold this space for you. Lotus says, I got chills. Thank you for the reading and sharing your gifts. Love, light, healing, protection, and blessings to you, everyone, and your families. And back to you. I return that beautiful energy back to you and share it with everyone that is here. Tanya has thankful hands and infinity signs and love and happiness. And so I'm just passing back to you all that you are sharing with me. And we all get it from the same beautiful, loving source space. So I will see you and the upcoming, definitely check me out Thursday because we got the my show, Conversational Elevation with the Viberarian. It's live on Blog Talk Radio on Thursday. You can call in, ask questions. And then I put the replay out on my channel here. It's an hour-long conversation discussion about whatever I'm led to by spirit to talk about for the week. Last week we talked about influence, and I'm getting ready to get that uploaded here in the next day or so you can hear that dialogue. And then I'll be back Thursday, and please do stay tuned for future times of In the Cards with the Viberarian. Know that the light in me absolutely honors the light in you. Namaste.